Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to Signal Over Noise, the receipt room. I am Freedom Fire 1776, and
And
this
I'm
is
Yeet Force.
Yeet Force. And tonight we have a special guest that everybody knows. We have Josh, the Justice Cometh, with us.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going.
Good to have
It's
you,
been a
man.
crazy day, man. Feel like I've seen you all day long.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
This is like my third freaking stream today. It's crazy. But
It-
it is what it is. We got to do what we can to save the world.
That's right. It's that kind of day. That's it.
Amen.
We were telling Josh earlier today, man, you should come on. We got so much going on. He's like, I don't know. I kind of got stuff going on. And then last minute, he was like, I don't know. Is that invite still open? Heck yeah, it's still open. Let's go. Let's
roll.
go. All right. Thank you guys for being with us tonight because it has been a crazy day. It's been a crazy past, I don't know, year, 2 years, but here we all are, right?
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate you guys. So let's get to the chat. Sorry, I'm choking on my coffee. I apologize. We can say hello to some people, and I won't say hello to myself or Yeet being the first ones in the chat, but hello, Christine G68. Thank you for being with us. And of course, the Justice Cometh. And Tracy Taylor. Thanks, girl, for stopping in. And let's our Spammy. Thank you for being here. And Twice Barb. Twice, hello.
Stephism, good to see you. Same with the Irish Patriot. Good to see you.
Yeah, they're our peeps, man. They're awesome.
Right. And Pretty Lady 45, who actually her husband works with my husband. And that is the wonderful people who got me this sign over here. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love that. And let's see, who else? I can't see all the chat stuff. So if anybody else sees somebody else, tell me, because I can't see everything.
Well, over in my chat, we got Spammy Girl over there on X, and Tracy's also double dipping over there on X as well. And guys, listen, if you're joining us on Rumble, make sure you give us that thumbs up and share out the show and give us a little repost a little bit so we can get some people in the seats, because I'm telling you what, guys, we have got some good information fixing to come down the pipe to you. And we're also broadcasting on my YouTube tonight, so we are live there. So if you're joining us there, make sure you give us that thumbs up and that share out. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really, really good episode. Y'all really bring the heat.
We've got a lot to
Rabbit.
throw. Oh, Rabbit of Truth. Hey.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. All right, guys. So we kind
one
of have
little.
Oh, go ahead.
One little side piece. If you guys want any of the receipts, we have gone out of our way to post all of the receipts in the comment section underneath the video player today. Just copy and paste them into a URL, and it should take you exactly to where we are getting our information from.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
absolutely.
Make sure we do that. So we want to get that all out there for you guys. We kind of started out, I'm not going to lie, before the show or before the Trump speech, we had a gear that we were going towards, and we're still going to go towards that gear. So I've got a few slides, but I'm going to also say that we have the D-class files as well from Trump's speech that also tie into this topic. Okay. And the reason I really wanted Josh on that is because Josh has a special set of skills that I don't have, and that is he can tie some Q drops like nobody's business, and that's just not my lane. So I figure once we start hitting those D-class files, he's going to be able to pull that stuff, because that's how his brain works. The mine just does not. I could pull the files, but that's not my thing. So we're kind of hoping we could get all of that tied in together for you guys tonight, just so we can double proof, I guess, whatever you want to say, because we like receipts here. So yeah. So we're going to jump into the China architecture first. And like I said, I do have slides, and Yeet is going to kind of be pulling, what do you want to say, the receipts from that file, Yeet, as we kind of go through. Okay. And Josh, if you hear anything that you think is going to tie to that, pop in and say, and throw the Q drops up in there. We'll share your screen. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right.
Also, we're a bunch of nerds, so if you ever need to interrupt us for anything, you feel free to, dude.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know that. You know that. Tracy says all the time, I don't understand that language.
I'd be like, she'd be like, "What are they talking about?" And then
Yeah.
she asks questions. It's like, "Oh yeah, okay, I got you."
Yeah, sometimes she's like, you got to show me that stuff. So, all right. So I'm
Right.
going to throw these up and we'll kind of get going on that. All right. Okay. So the first thing we're just going to talk about is the China architecture. And so we all know since the Lindsey Graham thing, we all know that started the clock. Josh pretty much established that for everybody. And that's what's going on right now in Capitol Hill is that's what they're talking about right now, guys, is they're talking about all this stuff with the whole China situation. So that's where we're headed. The trade, technology, foreign investment, and political influence that it brings. Okay. So, working thesis and all this, plus evidence rules, because we always want evidence. We don't believe what everybody else says. So, we have documented facts, supported connection, the analytical inference, the unresolved lead, because there are still going to be some unresolved things, right? And there's just flat out unsupported claims. And so
Right.
the record supports a decades long architecture, trade access, corporate outsourcing, tech transfers, strategic resource dependence, investment review, lobbying, and election impact mechanisms. Because we have to remember, everybody keeps talking about how these election machines themselves are the issue. It's so much bigger than just the machines, okay? And I know this is kind of small. I wasn't anticipating to be quite that little.
And this is the China WTO Ascension background?
Yes, I'm going to make this
Gotcha.
bigger so we can just all be covered. There we go. Go ahead, Yeet. You can go from here.
Master timeline of the architecture form. Just as a little side note, follow the lanes separately: trade, digital networks, foreign investments, lobbying, corporate filings, and election mechanisms. Do not convert timeline proximity into causation. Use primary records to test every bridge. 1972, you had the diplomatic opening. 1979, you had the U.S. formal PRC ties. The 1986 China seeks GATT path. 1988, the Exxon Florio CFIUS authority. Early 2000s with the PNTR enacted. 2001 with China entering the WTO, World Trade Organization. 2010 with Uranium One CFIUS. 2018 with the FIRRMA expands review, and then 2026 with the tariffs and reciprocal trade.
Okay. So 72 through 88, because everybody knows that I like 88. And it says 88 is the tension point. Deeper global commerce, stronger national security and review. So in the opening lanes, you've got 72. The Nixon was the opening. 79, formal relations and the strategic realignment. The trade path was 86. China seeks the GATT path. Global trade framework, manufacturing incentives rise. The security review, 75. The CFIUS created, 88. Exxon Florio. Now, that was a huge omnibus bill, guys. And at the time, I didn't realize how big that was. So the foreign acquisition risk.
Clinton era PNTR as a legal bridge. The PNTR did not admit China to the World Trade Organization. It ended annual U.S. review of China's trade status and allowed the WTO's treatment after ascension.
There's that word.
You've got the 1999
Yes.
Bilateral Market Access Agreement, the 2000 U.S.-China Relations Act through the PNTR, and the 2001 WTO ascension under Bush.
So I want to throw out there, you said that there's that word ascension, and it's actually documented several times in the documents. It talks about the WTO ascension, which I find fascinating.
So guys, I want to stop you right here because what we're looking at right here, if I'm not mistaken, is that you're setting the timeline for whenever China started making their way into the United States, into the markets, and ultimately their plan to try to take over the whole, be number one in trade and number one in a lot of different things, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Yep. Okay. Did we just do this one? No. Okay. This is a good one. Go ahead.
Other globalization, the Barlow and borderless internet. You've got the trade globalization of the PNTR and the World Trade Organization, factors plus capital, and shipping plus supply chains. Those were basically being established during that period of time and were implemented. The digital globalization of the EFF through Barlow, 1996 declaration, created networks and information flow. And then the unresolved lead, which is the Chinese sovereign control, created connectivity exception, domestic information control, and state-directed technology policy. China accepted the connections without surrendering centralized control. And that's a really, really big one. It basically just creates this timeline where China could basically just do whatever they wanted to do with global trade. And because they were the supplier and the producer of the entire world, they could just, anytime anybody wanted to bring anything against them, they could just yeet it out the window.
Right.
Now, are you guys going to get into John Perry Barlow at all later on down the presentation?
Yes.
We are. All right. Good.
Yep. Okay, so 2001 through 2008, we're going to kind of fly through these guys, so just bear with us. The WTO implementation plus corporate migration, the HQ decision, the China assembly, to suppliers flow, to tooling moves, to logistic lock-in, to, I can't even read that, dependency. becomes structural. So the USTR's early China WTO compliance reports documented implementation concerns. Corporate filings are required for company-specific exposure and motivation. Key receipts path, which we're going to show you, the SEC's 10Ks, USTR compliance reports, LDA, FARA records, customs and sanctions records. Obama era. Oh, okay, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Now you've got the Obama era. Enforcement without decoupling. WTO cases plus dialogue. USTR reported that subsidies and IPs, market access, and SOEs created basically strategic and economic dialogue, and the TPP as a regional rules strategy. Then they continued the commercialization integration with manufacturing networks and consumer tech and industrial exposure, creating company-level SEC records that were needed. The defense dependency warning is that GAOs, rare earth warnings, and defense supply chains exposure created processing concentration risks. Okay, yeah, sorry, I'm a little tarded. The question is, did enforcement move faster than dependency? I argue enforcement didn't go anywhere at all.
Well, and the enforcement aspect of it is because China owned all of our politicians.
Right.
Yep.
So Uranium 1, CFI US case study, not a forced China node. So Uranium 1 and NRC, Canadian company, U.S. uranium interests, license and ownership records, the Rosatom 10X, Russian State Nuclear Network, 10X export enrichment lane, and strategic sector. The McKeown-Lambert DOJ, corruption case documented, this killer, 2004 through 2014 conduct, causation still requires proof. Use Uranium 1 to test the foreign investment review system. Do not convert it into a China transaction without a receipt. Well, we're going to talk about that. Sorry, again, we're going to kind of fly through this because I know it doesn't make a whole lot of sense right this second, but once we start showing you documents and we go to Trump's D-class about what he talked about, it's going to make sense.
A lot of sense.
Go ahead, Yeet.
Hey, Casey Coyle. Thanks for raiding over the stream. Look at that. People's Ledger just rated us. Awesome.
Yeah, so
welcome in, everybody.
Yeah, so guys, if you're just joining us right now from the People's Ledger, don't forget to follow Truther Media here. Just hit that little follow button and give us that little thumbs up. Even if you're just coming in here just for a minute, give us that thumbs up if you can, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So now we get into a little bit of the juicy stuff. Hillary Clinton plus CFI US, the institutional role versus proof. Documented facts in this case. Secretary of State headed one CFI US member department. CFI US is interagency and chaired by the Treasury. That's very interesting.
Right.
CFI US staff process is not a unilateral state decision. Basically, none of us have say in it.
Right.
The records needed. State CFI US memos and briefings, recusals, and ethics records, emails mentioning Uranium-1, ROTSUM, 10X, donation timing plus causation of evidence. A great example of this is McCarran. Is that how you spell it?
McCarran.
McCarran. All right. McCarran dissemination records. The institutional proximity creates an investigative question. It does not prove personal intervention or a quid pro quo. Just as a side piece, it's really important for everybody to know that even though we have the receipts, we still have to ask these questions in a neutral, non-biased fashion. That's why that's up there.
Podesta Group, Podesta Network, FARA Discipline. So John Podesta, White House, CAP, Obama, Clinton campaign rules. Do not merge every activity with Tony's firm. Tony Podesta, professional lobbyist, founder of Podesta Group, client-by-client records required. Podesta Group, foreign principal filings, Ukraine, European Center for a Modern Ukraine, Egypt Embassy, PLM lane. FAR approves representation and disclosed activity. It does not alone prove espionage, treason, or China direction. Well, as a whole, we'll say it does not. This is a fireproof, guys. Fire has no bias, okay? But when you put everything together, that becomes a proof. So let's just put that out there.
Right.
Can I say something real quick? Can I cut in?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So you just can we roll back one?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
So we talked about verifying 11.3 yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And 11.3 is also tied into the John Podesta and the Podesta Group.
Correct.
So a lot of the Anons out there think, oh my gosh, look, John Podesta is going to be arrested, and a lot of them tie John Podesta in with child sex trafficking and things like that. Okay, but because that's what tugs on the heartstrings. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but guys,
Bingo.
unfortunately, we have got to prosecute people with hard evidence that can be proven in a court of law. Okay, so it's my opinion that John Podesta won't be arrested for any of, on the surface level, for any of the child sex trafficking and stuff like that, okay, on the surface level. It's going to be over the Uranium-1 ties. It's going to be about what happened with the Podesta Group, John Podesta, Tony Podesta.
Right.
That's where I think that when you see Uranium-1 fixing to come into the picture and the D-class that's going to happen with that, and you're going to see 11.3 again pop up with John Podesta and the Podesta Group. So it's so important, guys, that you know this information and not just the feel, the stuff that tugs at your heartstrings, okay? Because a lot of the people use that on X to get clicks and likes and stuff like that. But you got to know these facts about how these players are tied in with China, because what we witnessed yesterday was just the beginning.
Oh,
it is just the
absolutely.
very, very absolute tip of your finger on what is going on. It's the lead in. Okay,
It's
guys?
kind of like what we talk about with RICO. You have to start in one place in order to keep going into other places. So in order for things to be brought into court, unfortunately, in our country, I mean, it's just a pure fact. The things that are going to tug at our heartstrings aren't the things going to get people pulled into court. It's just not, which is disgusting. I know. I did it for many years. So I'm just saying the things that are going to actually get people into court and get things opened up in cases like this are going to be what we're looking at right now, that are then going to allow things. It's going to be Pandora's box is going to open.
Yeah,
Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
Here's something for you. Post 15. Thank you. Thank you, pretty lady.
Give me just 1 second. Let me get it pulled up.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was looking at Barlow Diggs and I was looking at Rostam, because Rostam's in the drops too.
How do we get?
Hold on just a second. I got to get pulled up.
Okay.
Let's see here. 15.
Yeah, no, I was actually going to say the same thing, Freedom Fire. We all know how corrupt our legal system is from a standpoint of like child trafficking and stuff. You know, we'd never be able to get John Podesta or any of these other people on those types of crimes. But the one thing that the federal government takes extremely seriously is money.
Exactly.
Money.
Right.
Okay, it's down there for you to pull up.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right.
You get to it. There you go. Okay.
Yep. So this is Q drop number 15, and this is what we were talking about with 11.3 and Podesta indicted, okay? And you know, the reason that a lot of people tie this in with it, that he's going to be arrested for child trafficking, is this first paragraph right here, okay? There are more good people than bad. The wizards and warlocks inside term will not allow another satanic evil POS to control our country. So that's why everybody's like, oh, well, he must be getting arrested for, you know, child sex trafficking and abuse and all the other stuff. One thing that you have to learn as an Anon, you've got to take your feelings out of this stuff. Okay, you've got to look at it from an analytical point of view. Realize Soros, Clinton, Obama, and the thing about Soros is right now, and this is just a little side note, John Solomon just put out some information about they're looking at the NGOs now, and how they were funded, and they were funded from an outside source. Okay, we already know who that outside source is. The drops tell us who that outside source is. It's George Soros. Okay, so it also says in the drops, and I'm not going to pull it up, but I'm just pulling it from memory here. It also says in the drops that when we find out who is funding this stuff, what can we do? We can prosecute it. Okay, and that's what you're fixing to see. You're seeing disclosure right now. You're actually seeing declass right now. We're living it. Okay, yep. But anyways, so 11.3 Podesta indicted, 11.6 Huma indicted. Manafort was placed into Trump's camp as well as others. The corruption that will come out is so serious. And guys, when you talk about that word corruption, okay, wording is important in this stuff. Corruption is usually not referred to in child sex trafficking and all of that, okay? Corruption is dealing with treason. It's dealing with governments that are compromised, things like that. Right. Okay, so you got to remember that. Wording matters. So let me go back. Manafort was placed into Trump's camps as well as others. The corruption that will come out is so serious that deals must be cut for people to walk away. Otherwise, 70% of elected politicians would be in jail. You are seeing it already begin. Okay, pause. So a lot of people think that we're going to have every politician just rounded up. Guys, that is not realistic. And let me tell you why. Is because that we have to do everything by the book. And when I say by the book, we need the evidence. Okay? And how we get the evidence, when does a bird sing? When it's caged. Okay? That's very important. You have to remember that. So, what do? We cut deals with people. The DOJ says, okay, if you roll over on this person, we're not going to go for the death penalty. We may just give you life in prison. Or if it's not that serious what they've done, and they were kind of just, because the drops even say people were forced into this under threat from their family and friends and etc. So if that's found out, maybe the DOJ says, hey, listen, we know what happened. We get it. We know. But we're going to cut a deal with you, and you're going to roll over on all these people. And then that one leads to the next one, and then they grab that person. And they say, okay, now I need you to roll over on this person.
Exactly.
That's the way our law system works, guys. Whether you like it or not, it's just that's the way it works. Okay. So a deep cleaning is occurring, and prevention and defense of pure evil is occurring on a daily basis. They never thought they were going to lose control of the presidency, not just D's. That's important because it's on both sides of the aisle. It's not about R versus D anymore. It's about good versus evil.
And also global.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. And they thought they had control since making past mistakes. JFK, Reagan. Godspeed, Patriots. Remember what I just told you about Soros?
Right.
P.S. Soros is targeted. And John Solomon coming out about, and guys, I don't mean to take over your show here.
No, feel free.
No, absolutely. Go ahead. That's why we wanted you on here. You're so much better at the Q drops. We need to link stuff together.
And the reason that I go back to the drops is, people think that these drops are like mythical. Mythical. Yeah.
Yes.
And they're like just some thing. Guys, the drops are simply intel drops from our military. That's all it is. Okay? They're giving us insight by bypassing. I am so tongue-tied tonight. By bypassing national security laws.
Right.
Okay, they have to word things a correct way. They have to use codes. They have to do this and they have to do that. It's not just some secretive thing. They're trying to get information to us so that whenever that we're researching stuff, the military's filling in the blanks for us where OSNIT is not giving us the information that we need. Okay?
Right.
So that way we can dig deeper into things and find the real source of the problems. If the Q drops had never happened, we would have never figured out about George Soros. We would have never probably figured out that Barack Hussein Obama was part of the Harvard Muslim University alumni, okay,
Right.
which is HUMA. Okay, that's one definition for it. There's multiple meanings in this drops, okay? Just like 11.3, there's multiple definitions in 11.3, okay? I think I will relinquish back to you guys now.
I'm actually curious. I see on here, where did he go? He, she, I'm not sure, sorry. It was Glover
D.
Yeah, okay. So I was looking at the drop 4621, the placeholder indictment tracking non-civilian set one, Kevin Kleinsmith. I'm pulling that up. I'm actually running that because I didn't know there was another one. I didn't see that one with the 11.3 and then the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 placeholder. So I was running that because I'm curious on that one now.
Yeah,
so
Kevin. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say thank you for pointing that one out. I didn't know that one.
So Kevin Kleinsmith was one of the very first unsealed indictments out there, and it says 11.3 K Kleinsmith. I don't know why I can't talk tonight, guys. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this indictment for Kevin Kleinsmith in the private chat here, and I'll also put it in the public chat so everybody can kind of look through it and say, oh, okay, well, that's what happened. Let's see here. Get that in all the chats.
Nice, thank you. And for anybody who just joined us from a raid or anything like that, you can also go into the comment section underneath the video player, and there's a whole bunch of receipts right there. Just copy and paste them into your URL.
So, that was another 11.3Q. Okay. Now, I want to piece something together for you. Glover D. Yeah, Glover D. Okay. So we know that things have multiple meanings. I believe I established that another meaning of 11.3 was verified yesterday.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So also in the drops, it says D plus China equals 11.3. Okay. Now it also says in the drops it says, Post D come many eyes, indictments. Now, the post that you're referring to, Glover D, is the Kevin Kleinsmith 11.3. So here's what I take from that. I take that, okay, we're getting rolling now. We're getting rolling. Maybe Kevin Kleinsmith was the very first one we cut a deal with that rolled over on people. We unsealed the indictment. Now, I believe since 11.3 has now been verified, that we're going to start seeing more sealed indictments come down the pike, and it's going to be drip, drip, drip. Okay. And this person's going to connect to this person. It's going to allow us to do research into these people and connect one to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other. Mm-hmm. So that's just my take on it.
Well, okay, and essentially exactly what our presentation is about is how all of those connect together.
What I have, because you know me, I have to run everything through fire because I am not a Q genius because I wasn't there in the beginning. So what it says is that drop 4621 is best understood as a structured case tracking entry, not a conventional narrative drop. It places Kevin Kleinsmith into the first position of a proposed 6-person non-civil accountability set, attaches the marker 11.3 and links to the federal conspiracy statute covering schemes that obstruct in or impair lawful government functions. The exact structure, drop 4621, was posted on August the 17th, 2020 at 6:59 and 35 seconds p.m. On 8CON Project DCOM's board. It contained a non-civilian indictment tracking placeholder. Set 1, containing 6 available positions. Kevin Kleinsmith is position 1, the tag KC 11.3. A separate civil case placeholder, a DOJ link explaining 18 U.S.C. 371, conspiracy to defraud the United States. What non-civilian most likely means. The post separates non-civilian and civilian. The most natural legal reading is non-civilian, criminal or governmental prosecution lane. Civilian, lawsuits, damages, injunctions, or other non-criminal actions. So it's saying that the post architecture supplied in the post itself, the computer language, because I have it break everything down in computer language too. So tracker, non-civilian, set 1, first one being Kevin Kleinsmith, and then it says 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all null at that moment. Civilian, null. The tag being Kevin Kleinsmith equaling KC / 11.3. Legal context, 18 USC 371. In other words, Kleinsmith was entered as the first populated record in a previously empty data structure. Drop 3934 had created the same empty 6-position structure on April the 10th of 2020. Drop 4621 later filled only the first slot. The remaining 5 positions were not subsequently filled in another Q post using the same displayed set.
Can you pull up my screen, my share screen real quick?
Yep.
Okay, so this is this post 3934 that she was just referring to. Now, this is very important right here. I want you to look at the very bottom of that. Placeholder, foreign acts, public. PUB, public. Okay, what did we just have come down yesterday?
Exactly.
Foreign interference in our election, 11.3, was just verified.
Absolutely.
Okay? Placeholder, acts of treason and support articles. That's what we're seeing right now. The articles that the proof is coming down to us. Okay, post D, remember D plus China equals 11.3. Post D comes very many eyes. This is what you're seeing right here. This is an indictment tracker. And Kevin Kleinsmith was the first one to be indicted back in the day that was unsealed. Okay, mm-hmm. And you also see right there, it says placeholder FISA public. Okay, if you don't know, FISA Gate is one of the movies that Q refers to as one of the 3 movies that are playing. I believe right now we're seeing Panic in DC right now playing. We're not quite to FISA Gate yet.
Right.
Okay, and also if you remember Glover D, since you seem to know the boards pretty good. remember FISA in the bracket of 20. If you want to go back to my X feed, I believe I've proved that the clock has started. What if all these numbers in these brackets are times, dates, or days into the clock?
Mhm.
I believe FISA is coming down the pike. Maybe not this coming week. I don't know. Okay, it does say FISA equals start. So FISA may be not the start of the whole thing, because I believe we just witnessed the start yesterday, but maybe that FISA equals start is the unsealing of the indictments that you see right here on the screen.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
That's pretty awesome, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know if it's Glover or Glover D.
Glover D.
Yeah. Thank you so much. No, that actually makes so much sense, because some of us are, like, not that great at the Q stuff. We have to like run everything through our system to try to figure it out, or we have to go through our boss, Josh.
Guys, it's so, listen, if you weren't there during all the research, guys, I feel sorry for you trying to catch up with everything that's happened down the pike, because it's like new people coming into this, they're not quite sure what to make of all this. They're like, what does all this stuff mean? I don't get it. But and see, that's where the context matters.
It
and
does.
I believe that's why, we still have some OGs out there that can kind of explain things a little bit and say, hey, this is what happened here. This is what happened here. This is what this player is. This is who this player is and how it's connected. It's like we get so wrapped up in all this anon pop culture, about, oh, look, 17 there. But we've forgotten how to do the research. We've forgotten that we need to explain things to people, because I'm telling you, the Great Awakening started yesterday. And people are going to be coming in droves looking for this information when this stuff comes down the pike. I'm not going to throw any names out there, but I was in some of these fake and gay and on, like everything's a movie stuff in their feeds and stuff. Nothing. None of this stuff. No news unlocks the map. No, hey, look, we talked about this here, and this is what's happening here in the news, and it's all proven. Future proves past. I don't see any of that happening
Right
now in the movement.
Right.
And that's what's really disturbing to me, is because that's our main job.
Right.
That's like the core of the movement.
It is. And that's what, I know I get so sappy over certain things, but it's like on other things, I'm super hardcore, because I'm like such a research fiend when it comes to historical context in law and things like that. But I say it repeatedly, and I'll keep saying it. I wasn't in the drops originally. I came in way later. So if it weren't for the people that were there originally, I wouldn't have context, because I wasn't there. It's really hard to go back and try to understand it in the historical context, because Q isn't something you can read like a book. You just can't. Unless you were there. No, unless you were there, it's very difficult. So it's very, very, very important to have good people out there, good anons out there who are willing to explain and share it. So if you don't have good anons out there willing to explain it and share it, and they want to gatekeep information, or they're not telling you the truth, discernment is imperative, number one. So I hate to sit there and say, well, don't follow this person and don't follow that person, because I wasn't there.
Just use your discernment.
You have to use your discernment. Yeah, for sure.
See what they're producing. See what they're telling you. Are they just wanting you to tune into the next episode to find out who's fake?
Right.
Or are they, when you watch something like this, you're getting good, relevant information. You're
right,
like,
absolutely.
That's what that means. Okay, I get it now. It all connects now. That's what we're supposed to be doing, and not just entertaining people. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to save our country, people.
That's all that matters. It really
Job
is.
first.
Job first, exactly.
And I'll say one other thing, then I'll let you guys roll back to it. Q says enjoy the show. Okay, I get it. I understand that. But what you're witnessing now, if you want to go back and look at the drops where I connected in the enjoy the show, the start back to the JFK Jr. plane crash, it goes back and says JFK Jr. plane crash 1999, Hillary Rodham Clinton. We all know that post, and it says the start. enjoy the show.
Right.
That was yesterday, folks. What you're seeing now, this big show that everybody's talking about, it's just now starting. The movies are just now starting. Movie 1 just started, and it's called Panic in D.C. right now because Trump is putting his foot on their throats in D.C. right now. He's crushing them in D.C. right now. He's crushing the public opinion of every senator up there right now, and it's going to get worse for them. You see AOC out there panicking. You see Chuck Schumer on the floor yesterday in panic mode about what was coming down. You see all these people out there. Hillary Clinton's in panic mode right now. The Democrat X account says Donald Trump is a loser. That's panic, guys. That is panic. Okay,
but there's something to that. I think there's something to that.
Yeah, I do too. So when you say, oh, well, sit back and enjoy the show, okay, well, that doesn't mean that don't do anything. And even there's even a drop for that. Q even says, don't mistake all of this for complacency. We need you. It says that in the drops. Okay? Mm-hmm. So you can't just buy into this theory that everything's already been played out. Okay? Q even says, this is not going to work without you. Your involvement is paramount into the Great Awakening because the quantum computing system that the Q system is, unfortunately, is not flesh and blood. It's not you and me, okay? It can spit out all this information, but ultimately the action has to take place with you and me. We have to take that information and make it actionable. 11.3 is actionable. What do you think that means? That doesn't mean that Q is actionable. We are actionable. We are the plan.
Right. Well, and ultimately, like, you think that all of this freak out over Donald Trump would actually exist if there was nothing going on behind the scenes?
Exactly.
We've been saying that for a long time, and now we're starting to see it literally play out, and that's why they're getting so upset. They're getting so attacky. Why we've got bots coming into our chats constantly everywhere all over the movement, not just here. So, yeah, it's pretty intense.
Yeah, I agree with that. Obviously, there's a reason. I mean, it's just coming. It's just going to get worse. It's going to get worse.
I do want to read this one comment by Glover D. It says, "Okay, and this person, male or female, I don't know who it is, but it's spot on. Number one, okay, you guys remember Q dropped 14, and I've actually got a picture of that around here somewhere. With Washington in the Durham boats, why did Q place the F in brackets and skiff? Search the drops for F and see what foreign country is mentioned name. They're spot on. And yesterday, we crossed the Delaware. POTUS opened the door of all doors yesterday. He's like, the snowball of D5 has starting to roll, and there's no stopping it. And Glover D also says, also, where the burn bags POTUS mentioned last night answer in the secret room inside the skiff. We need to have this person on.
Yeah, we do.
in the secret room in the skiff at the FBI HQ in D.C. Okay, I want to throw something else at you. So, do you remember when Chris Wray started in the FBI? Okay.
Yeah.
And he still was, and I don't know this for sure, guys, so I'm just kind of spitballing here. Okay. So he started and he continued into the Biden presidency. Okay. And he continued all the way through until we got Kash Patel. Okay. Now we've discovered this secret room of burn bags with all this information in it. You don't think Chris and Ray knew exactly what was in there? Why didn't they burn these bags?
Right.
Trust Ray.
Right.
If it wasn't for Chris Ray, all of that information would have been destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I know we don't like publicly, optically, Chris Ray, but I believe he was an operator dialed in with a specific mission. He really couldn't reel back away. He couldn't give away his position. But his one job that he had was to protect that burn room.
Mm-hmm.
Because without him, we would not have yesterday.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that.
And I bet you remember this, Josh, too, when the Q drops had dropped about, Trust Ray. There was a whole bunch of confusion on which AG we should follow, which one we shouldn't follow. It got to the point where Q had to address it specifically.
Yeah, exactly.
Did that on purpose.
So, do you remember also the drop with Rays of Light with it starting with a W?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it says, think Ray yesterday, think Rod Rosenstein today. Calms understood. Do you believe in coincidences? Okay, so I believe that in that room with those burn bags, you've got Uranium-1. And when Uranium-1 comes full circle, you're going to see Mueller come back into the picture because he's directly tied into Uranium-1. Who was the FBI director during the time of Uranium-1? Who was his number 2? Rod Rosenstein.
Right.
Okay. So they were all complicit, and all of this stuff was in these burn bags. Okay. Gosh, guys, it's just so. It's such a web, guys. I wish that
it is.
You could just lay out a PDF, but it would be a novel.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, we've started.
Right.
Yeah.
And now that you can, now that we have all of this together, you can really see the map pretty clearly now.
It's taken years to build all this.
Years.
And a lot of it's up here.
Yep.
So, guys, I'll relent back to you. I'm sorry for taking over your show.
You're fine.
I thought that was...
It's totally fine. And what do you think? Do you think we should keep going through this? Or do you want to, at this point...
let's keep rolling. You
guys
guys worked hard on this.
Okay. So we did that one. So the regime change overlay, contracts after chaos. So you had Egypt, Libya, Syria, Ukraine, Iran talks, and then the SRI expansion. Or is it, I can't remember. Yeah, SRI.
BRI.
So BRI, sorry. So do not claim central coordination from temporal overlap, track assets after political transition, ports, mines, oil, gas, telecom, debt, reconstruction, and basing rights. So receipts are from the State Department records, sanctions designations, FARA, contracts, leases, concessions, procurement records. So the investigation question: who obtained the port, pipeline, mine, telecom systems, or debt leverage afterward?
And I think this is actually a really good spot for my first image.
Yes.
So let me...
if everybody can see that, good.
This one.
Can we make that bigger?
Because
that's a really good one. You can't.
I don't think you can.
Bummer.
Actually, let me get this loaded up on my PC, and I will... There we go.
Gosh, that's a lot, guys.
It is, but it's awesome.
So much.
But it really shows everything.
Oh, there's that executive order again, 13848. We were just talking about that today.
Yeah. If he can enlarge this, it's so cool.
So, guys, if you were listening to my live earlier going through, hey, guys, we don't need a national emergency. We've already got it. It's under Executive Order 13848, which is still active to this day to September 2026. So this graphic, when he goes through and explains it, is going to show how all of the Executive Order 13848 is still in use today, and it's actively being used today.
Makes the sanctions make a lot of sense.
It does, yeah, a lot of sense. Yeah. There we go.
Okay.
Oops. That is not what I wanted. Sorry, a little bit of technical difficulty, everyone.
It's okay. Take your time, man. It's not nearly as long as you think it is on camera. So just take your time because we need to go through that graphic.
Yeah, we do. Oh, nope. This one.
And guys, everybody, thank you all for joining us over there on X. I see a lot of faces over there. I see some new faces too. So thank you, and some new faces over here in Rumble as well too. So thank you.
All right. I hope that that's a little bit more viewable.
Yeah, there you go. That's awesome. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Good job, Yeet.
So, thank you. All right. So we've got a couple of legends that everybody should probably just pay attention to. Dotted lines are unresolved links. Full-colored squares are impacts on people and public effects. Purple lines are political influence. Blue lines are official workflows. And then orange lines are money trails. So in essence, you've got a historical capital, textile, and banking network that has been going around globally. You can see that China, Iran, Ukraine, Russia, this basically affects everything we've been talking about, everything that Q has been talking about for like the last 8 years. It's absolutely insane. And unfortunately, there's so much information here that you could only shove so much information into a graphic.
Right.
But you've got the James Edgar Charleston Merchant Wealth, the Alexander Brown and Baltimore Merchant Bank, Ellison Edgar Smith and the Family Industrial Bridge leading to Peltzer, Belton Mills, Chicora, Greensville News. This is part of the reason why you don't trust the news, people. You've got Executive Order 13848 and how it's literally built to shut all of this down. It is
That's
meant
amazing.
to block funds and freeze funds entirely. Target directs actors, supporters, fronts, controlled entities, and persons acting on or behalf of blocked actors.
Hey,
and you can see this is who gets affected.
Can I interject something real quick?
Shoot.
Go back up to the top, Executive Order 13848, okay? And let me explain something to the audience here. And you've done an excellent job on how that it's implemented. But let me tell the audience why. Because all of these countries that you're seeing right here, China, Iran, we're going through it right now, Russia, Ukraine, they all interfered in our elections. Okay.
All of them.
So when they did that, that opened up the door. Remember, POTUS opened the door of all doors yesterday. Okay.
Right.
That opened up the door for us once 11.3 was verified to take actions, and now take actions publicly against all of these. So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just kind of wanted to let the audience know, well, how is that? How are we implementing 13848 if it's about elections? It's because these countries interfered in our elections while we can take actions like this.
Right.
So
100%. And let's get this back up again.
And it kind of goes back to what we were saying. You have to look past just the whole election interference in the sense of it being only machines. Everybody thinks about these machines. It's infrastructure, guys. It's the entire infrastructure in general. So
it is,
that's,
yeah.
Yeah, it's infrastructure in its entirety.
Alrighty. So obviously, this comes from a specific type of bridge where we were talking about. We've been doing quite a lot of digs into Alice and Co. and their linen company and everything like that. So this is kind of where the South Carolina bridge comes into it. But to be quite honest, there's probably like 100 or 200 entrances into this all over. So
Right.
This is just one entrance, but you can see just how complex this one entrance is. And look at that. The RNC and Win Red are 100% guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, just like Act Blue.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
They're one and the same.
Yes.
And then
Hacks
these are the
have
human
everything to do with
impacts.
it. Yeah.
We wanted to showcase how this is ultimately going to affect the average everyday person, you and me, and our economy and our way of life. And as you can see, workers and communities, industrial capital shapes jobs, mill towns, and local banking. Voters and campaigns create money and influence and affect political infrastructure and public trust. Consumers and donors, sanctions and freezes, transactions, restrictions, and support networks, exposing hidden funding lanes. And then lastly, and this is the one we're all waiting for, national security on elections, on our economy, everything.
So don't go away from that graphic just yet, okay? So you zeroed in on South Carolina political industrial bridge. I don't know if you're going to bring Lindsey Graham into this later on in the presentation, are you?
Yes, we'll get to him, yep.
Okay, so guys, just remember this. They've highlighted South Carolina for a reason. Whereas what did Lindsey Graham represent? The people of South Carolina. Okay? He was in all of this. He knew all of this. Okay, so I'll just leave it at that.
Yes, I noticed that somebody said something about, and let me go back up. Somebody said something about Linwood and Drew McKissick. And yes, you're correct. And that is where Lindsey Graham obviously comes into play, because Alice Manufacturing was part of the McKissick family. It literally, Alice Manufacturing was McKissick and Smith or Smythe or however they say it, textile company to begin with. So it all lanes out as far as that goes as being one giant pack is what it turned into. That it started out in family lanes, and Lindsey Graham was that political insert for that company, that South Carolina company. But it leads off into so many different trails that, you've got family members who are actually political forces that are also CEOs of companies as well, or have high up positions in these companies. And then it goes into the whole follow the wives that we talk about. The wives, are also split off in trusts and this, that, and the other. And it goes in, and this is just one family, guys. This is just one family. Yep. Think about how many families that there are that are like this, that are running different things in our nation. Okay. This. Yeah.
One family,
it's just
man.
One family. So,
one family, goes into the South Carolina Republican Party and then into the RNC, which transitions into Win Red. Okay. Right. So when you talk about Lindsey Graham, when we freed Lindsey Graham, when John McCain was put to death, I'm telling you guys, we really freed Lindsey Graham. He was activated. We had Lindsey Graham coming over to our side because he was pushed into bad things under threats. Okay. I know there's a lot of pictures out there about Lindsey Graham and, with him and John McCain, but Q specifically said that we freed Lindsey Graham. Okay. And that unlocked the door to so much that Lindsey Graham knew, and he flipped and turned over to us.
Yep.
This is real life, people. Okay. This is not just some mythical movie that we're all living through. This is real effing life.
Right. And this graphic shows the impact of what it's causing on our life. And this is one family. That's my point. It's like, that's what we're trying to show. I mean, this is literally one family. We haven't, everybody talks about like the Luciferian London bloodlines. We're just talking about one damn family in South Carolina, y'all.
Yeah. We could literally go on for the next year and a half straight, just digging into every member of Congress and their finances. And at some point they'd all tie back into this. They really would. That's how crazy it is.
So, I'm not saying that London's not running the banks. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying we also have our own set of issues here when we're talking about this stuff too. This is insanity.
That's why Q said many governments feed the eye.
Absolutely.
Okay, you're seeing one of the feeders to the eye right here.
Right.
Yeah. And many families feed the eye too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's just crazy.
We will go ahead and remove that. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and remove this. I got one more image related to this. I'm also going to go ahead and remove that and do the same thing I did here.
And guys, we got till 10 o'clock till AJP starts, so we're good.
Okay.
10 Central, by the way.
Do you want to go into your next one? Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah. So this one right here is the political flow map, kind of the sister graph to the financial flow map. Again, same legend and everything like that. And you can see the historical origins here, again, just like normal. But this time, you can see the global impact of these political flows and these political moves. Russian influence operations, illicit finance, proxy acting, capital supply chain, and influence lanes from China, influence operations and illicit finance and proxy actors in Iran, geopolitical theater, funding exposure, and proxy conflict context in Ukraine, all targeted at the United States, all targeted at our policies, our politics, our infrastructure, all of it. This is the reason why our economy is crap. If you can't afford food every single day, this is the reason why. And I wish I could say it was just this one family, but it's all of them.
That's what I mean. Dutch Rumbler said, imagine all the similar families in Europe, the head of the snake. They're even more nefarious and older and more influential. Exactly. So I'm saying, I'm not saying that like London's not like the bank and everything, but I'm just saying, looking at this on this one scale, this is just one family here.
It's so much deeper than the London catchphrase, man.
It is. It's like just thinking about it on this massive of a scale, you're looking at one family. It's crazy.
And again, you can see the South Carolina political infrastructure here. This is Alice Manufacturing PAC. We specifically targeted PACs in our build because we found a lot of financial McJiggery going on there. You can see that Rampart PAC, Victory Enterprises, even the Christian Coalition got kind of brought into it a little bit here at one point in time. It's everywhere.
Oh yeah, Mitt Romney was deep in this stuff, guys.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh Lord.
Oh yeah.
If people, know, Mitt Romney, and just gosh, let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay, hold on just one second. You guys keep talking. I want to stick on that Mitt Romney Ukraine thing. Okay. So let me go to my pictures. I got to find the drop here. Let's see here.
So again, from a political perspective, you can see that 13.848 and the inferred sanctions has a massive effect on what is going on here. A lot of people don't understand this, but even propaganda is a trade good. If you wanted to make a trade with Iran right now, Iran would very easily come out and say part of our trade negotiation needs to be that you push propaganda about Iran being great again. And then all of a sudden, all mainstream media, that's all you freaking hear from them. This is exactly why Trump's 13.848 and others, by the way, are so vitally important to fixing America. Everything has a price tag. Everything can be a trade good.
So
and again, exact same human impact. Go for it.
So I've got my graphic pulled up if you want to share my screen real quick.
Boom.
All right. You see Mitt Romney right there in the cookie jar, guys? And POTUS turning on the light, and he's tapping his foot, and they say, we caught you. You know, Pelosi, Biden, Romney, Kerry. See, everybody forgets about John Kerry, but the Kerry family is just as bad as the McCain family.
Absolutely.
Okay? So in this drop says people actually believe those responsible for stealing billions of U.S. taxpayer dollars will actually go unpunished. This is not simply just another 4-year election. Q.
Amen.
And this was before all of the money started going to Ukraine from our government. Okay? So that's also important too to realize that we knew it was coming. We knew that Ukraine was a deep state hub. And also there was somebody else in my chat, in the X chat, saying, well, I don't understand, because we say that Russia and China are working with us, so you're giving me conflicting information. Okay, so let me explain something. Let me take this graphic away now. Because I want everybody to understand this point. This is real life, okay? Just because that a country is working with us doesn't mean the whole country is working with us. Okay?
Right.
Just like us, these countries have deep states too. Okay? Iran's got a deep state, which we're trying to get rid of right now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Russia had a deep state. Q even said, post 2016 election, we cut Russia off. Russia was freed at that point. That's why Russia was still involved in like Uranium One from back in the day. And us cutting off Russia, why do you think that they want to keep Russia and the United States separate from each other? They wanted to keep POTUS away from Putin. Why? Because when those two come together, the whole thing comes crumbling down. Every single bit of it. Okay?
Yeah.
So now you're like, well, you're scratching your head and you're going, well, what about China? You know, you say China's bad, and now we're seeing all this information about China interfered on our elections. Okay. The CCP and the People's Republic of China is kind of two different things here. Okay. They're two separate factions. So in China, Z is fighting his own battles over there. Just like we're fighting our own battles here, he's trying to get the deep state out of his country too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very, very important to remember when you're looking at this global game of risk. There's so many factors within certain countries that you have to account for too. So it's very easy to look at it from a 1-to-1 kind of thing when it's really like 1-to-3 or 1-to-2. You know, there's separate factions in these different companies or these different countries that we're trying to eliminate. We're still going through it today.
Yep.
So I just wanted to clarify that to people because I was seeing in the chat, they were like, well, what about, you know, and I just wanted to clarify that.
It's also really important to understand that some of our biggest perceived enemies are made to be perceived as our biggest enemies for that exact same reason too. Because if we can stay in a constant state of bickering and fighting with each other, we won't band together like that.
Right.
100%. And I just wanted to point out something real quick. Network Operating Dictorate on YouTube asks how can they get access to Fire? We're in the middle of trying to license Fire. It's a brand new software. It is quite complex. It is not like anything that most people really work with. So give us some time and we'll wait until we can get something concrete, and we'll have it available to the public eventually.
Yeah,
I'm not quite sure when.
Unfortunately, you know, there's bad actors out there, and they would love to get their hands on something like this and start to discredit it, start to corrupt it, and things like that. Because unfortunately, you know, people will take something and try to corrupt it for their own uses, and we're trying to avoid that right now.
Yeah, right now we're just trying to get it set up to where we can actually just have everybody in Truth or Media using it, and we haven't even got that far. So
yeah, guys, I don't even have access to it yet. So
Josh doesn't even have access to it yet. That's our first step. Then we'll get it. Then we'll get it out there. So
awesome. So back to this.
Okay. So we went through this one already. Okay, so we'll get to the next one.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. So the corporate plus Graham research matrix. In this, I don't even know that everything is on here. It's pretty huge. So the company / Graham node, I can't even read all that. Can you see it better? Unless I blow it up, I can't see it.
I can.
Yeah, I can actually.
You guys can see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Somebody else want to read it? Yeah.
Company Graham node. You've got Apilla and Foxconn, GM, Ford, Tesla, Boeing, GE, and Honeywell, and then Graham Research. The China exposure, you have SEC plus supply chains, VS batteries. Is that it?
Oh, yeah.
And then aerospace industries, and that pulls into exact identity needed. Lobbying and FARA is the LDA check across the board. FEC is the FEC check across the board. Both need more records, and I think that we're going to see a lot more of that coming out from D-Class in the future.
Yes.
And then you got sanctions in the CFIUS, which is the BIS check, the CFIUS EV rules, export controls needs more information. And again, we'll probably see more of that coming out here in the future. Status, all of it needs to verify. because all of this is unresolved. And I think that's exactly what the beginning of 11.3 is all about, is resolving those loose ends.
Yeah, I do want to point that out. So when you see statuses that say need to be verified or unresolved, that is exactly what Josh has been saying. Like, the clock started. So that's what we're seeing, because that's what we're seeing right now up on Capitol Hill with a lot of the stuff that's going on right now, where you keep seeing me post fire updates between the things going on in Iran right now and the things that are going on Capitol Hill with the discussions about China. That's what's happening right now. They're digging into all of this stuff with the D class. Okay. So the critical minerals plus defense supply chain. We all kind of already know a lot of this stuff. The mining, separation, refining, alloying, magnets, components, and weapons grid. So GAO records warned that rare earth supply chain concentration can affect availability and pricing. We know that. We've heard POTUS talking about that. Final assembly in the U.S. is not enough if upstream processing remains concentrated abroad. Exactly. Like, he's telling us that. He's like, we need to have control over that. Tie this to defense
manufacturing here.
Absolutely. Tie this to defense platforms, energy systems, batteries, and electronics. Goes back to what we keep talking about with data centers and everything, because eventually the data centers are going to be what's going to be our energy. Right. So it's going to be the defense platform, the energy system, and the batteries and the electronics. It's going to be everything.
And also our finances.
Go ahead, boss. What's up?
Okay, so let's tie in some recent events to what you're talking about right here for mining and refining and all the components, all these rare earth minerals that we do need for our data centers, our DO weapons. Guys, it's real. It's there.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Look up LRADs.
What's that?
Look up LRADs.
Yep.
So let's bring Greenland into the picture here, okay?
Yes.
POTUS has said over and over and over, we must have Greenland. Greenland is central to our national security, okay? So a lot of people like to read into that, but if you go look up in Greenland, Greenland is full of rare earth minerals, okay?
Yes.
And it's also not very inhabited either, okay? So that's a perfect breeding ground for us to get rare earth minerals for what? National security and defense production. For what? Maybe it's for the Golden Dome.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
In our new financial system.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Because I'm one of these people that believes that everything is eventually going to run on the blockchain. Okay.
It is. Yeah.
In order to have the blockchain, we're going to have all these data centers. We're going to have all this computing power.
Yes.
And where do we get that? From the rare earth minerals. That's why POTUS needs Greenland so very bad. Also, Greenland is very strategic in placement on the earth between the Western Hemisphere and the Eastern Hemisphere. Okay, we need bases over there. We have the ability to park our subs over there right now, and we have some naval stuff going on over there right now. But we need a full-fledged base over there for the United States. Greenland is so key, and I believe
it's important. If you don't mind, it's really important
ahead.
Because Greenland acts as a type of security gate for the trade that takes place to the north of us. If we want to be able to trade easily through the entirety of like the Asian continent, the American continent, if we want to be able to do trade through Canada and other things like that, we need Greenland. It's security. And not only that, Greenland has a lot of really decent resources and is completely undeveloped outside of a few spots.
Right.
So I want to address something that TN Artist said. He said, I just don't feel data centers should be close to town. Okay, so that's what the deep state did. Okay, that was their playbook. They're just going to use whatever. Okay, so let's roll back a couple of days on what POTUS just did. And I also want to make something aware of last year's executive order for data centers. POTUS said that our new data centers that we're going to be coming out with, most of them are going to already be built on government land that we already own. Okay, that's important. So everybody that I have asked about these data centers and them taking land from them, what I've researched is it's just proposals. Nothing has actually been taken from anybody yet that I can find. Now, I may be wrong, but POTUS is going to use our own government land that we already own going forward on the data centers. What has Elon Musk said? Hey, we need some data centers up in space. They can be cooled very easily up in space. You know, you don't need the oxygen up there, up in space. So, guys, listen, the future is now. If you don't want data centers in the United States, you might as well hand over the keys to China. You might as well hand over the keys to everybody else in the world, because without data centers, we will not own the next age of America.
Yeah. And no, Josh, you are spot on when it comes to the data centers. The data centers being near town is not this current administration. It was Biden. I am actually looking at Biden's executive order on data center construction, summary and commentary. It was all Biden. Biden's the one who decided to set up all of these, and not just all of these. A lot of people have also been complaining about EV charging stations and other things like that too. That's also all Biden.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to answer. Pretty lady said, "Freedom Fire, tell everybody about the data centers on unusable land." Yes. So the reason why she said for me to say this is the company that my husband and her husband work for. So they deal with, we'll just say they deal in chemicals. Okay. So a lot of these companies, when they can no longer use the buildings anymore or the land any longer, right? What they do is the buildings just sit empty because the EPA will come out and they will test stuff, and it's no longer usable to any companies unless it can be used for a company that does the same thing, because the grounds cannot be used. But what Trump is saying is data centers can use this land. Okay. So that is a huge win. Otherwise, the companies are just kind of sitting there with property that they're still having to pay for, but they no longer use. Say they have to buy a different building, or they're moving somewhere else, or they're combining with another center or something, and that building just sits empty. So what's happening is Trump is saying, we will buy that building from you, and we can put the data center will buy that land from you, and we can use that land.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that is massive, as opposed to just having all of these buildings and land that are just sitting empty, that are unusable.
Right. Well, and also to that point too, like President Trump came out a couple of days ago on an executive order to take federal land and give it back to the people here in Utah.
Yeah.
And a lot of that land was specifically built for things like that, and also for like really sketchy military bases that the Biden administration wanted to set up.
Right.
They gave that land back to the people. Like Biden wouldn't have done that. Clinton wouldn't have done that. Bush wouldn't have done that. Obama wouldn't have done that.
No.
Only one president would.
So I know there's a lot of pushback on the power grid and things like that in water usage. Okay, so let me break something down for you. If you haven't missed it, or if you have missed it, our U.S. military, what are they pushing right now and saying they have the technology for? Mini nuclear reactors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I believe that our data centers will be powered by their own mini nuclear reactors in the future and now. Anything that's going forward. And if you didn't know, I can't stand that guy Nino Rodriguez. He is such the biggest shill I've ever seen in the world. Okay?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my God, look, the Rio Grande is empty because of data centers.
Ugh.
Guys, listen. That is such misinformation out there.
Isn't it flooding right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it flooding? Sorry.
Yeah, so what people don't realize is these new data centers, they take about 1.5 gallons of water to run on daily. Why? Because it's a closed loop system and it goes off of air cooling.
Yes.
That's what people don't realize. And you get all this Chinese propaganda. Chinese guys, I'm telling you, it's Chinese propaganda is being fed out there about data centers. Why? Because they don't want us to win the data center war.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And
I saw that.
Patriot, you were talking about how, when is free energy going to be introduced? I think that this concept of free energy is an amorphous thing. I think it's really easy to just use it as kind of like a trigger word, but what does that actually physically look like? I think many nuclear reactors, at least until we can get into more advanced technologies like that, is the closest thing that we can get to legitimately free energy. I mean, you basically just pop it in the ground somewhere where it needs a crap ton of power, and it just produces and produces and produces and produces.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and then Dutch Rumbler said, and they have closed water systems or other cooling mechanisms and their own electric systems, and they will actually make power cheaper for surrounding because of decentralized. Exactly, and that's something else that the company that my husband and Party Lady husband works for, that is actually something that they are in the works for doing. I mean, they're working with Dow Chemical and places like that right now. I mean, they will be doing that. That is exactly what they're doing. They will be making that. The coolant's already made. I mean, that's exactly what's going to happen. And, Trump has already set forth the EO saying, like, you come into these places and you start building this, you're going to have to completely reconfigure the infrastructure around anywhere you build to help rebuild the grid, do all the things that it's going to take in order to produce and make sure that you've got enough energy to not only, produce for your data center, but the entire surrounding area in which you're going to be near. Yep. So it's like a win-win. As much as everybody hates it, it's like, but think about that. Do you guys know how horrible our grid systems are?
Oh my God.
They're horrible.
They're ancient.
I mean, the wind can blow the wrong direction out here where I live, and my power goes out. Mm-hmm. It can be a little bit too hot, and my power goes out. I mean, yep. It's crazy.
One other thing too, and we could move on, I guess, after this, but I want people to realize, going back to Agenda 47 with President Trump when he was on the campaign trail for 2024, okay, he talked about freedom cities. Okay, he talked about vertical takeoff vehicles. Okay, that stuff is going to be very real very, very soon. But
for sure.
We can't do that kind of stuff without our data centers. Do you honestly think that you're going to just get a pilot's license and just go flying anywhere you want to? Right. I mean, that'd be chaos, guys. Tesla has all these self-driving vehicles and stuff for a reason. It's not going to be far-fetched that we're going to have an infrastructure for our skies. And in order to do that and to be safe traveling, you're going to have autopilots on stuff. Then you're going to have the infrastructure for what you need data centers for.
Right.
The massive computing power that it's going to take to make this a reality is so massive the brain can't even comprehend it.
Right.
I think long-term, Spammy, definitely our bills will go down. I think for now we're kind of, a lot of people don't really realize that in order to fix our country, we're going to have to bite the bullet quite a bit, and I know that sucks coming from a place of poverty myself. I definitely understand that. Good news is power hasn't gone up too much so far, and I'm in Utah. There's a crap ton of data centers that are being built, and power is pretty okay right now. So I think that, the fear is a lot more than the outcome at the moment. You know what I mean?
You talk about the energy too. Gosh, guys, it's just all tied together, man.
It is.
You think about Venezuela, and when we went into Venezuela, we got Maduro out. Okay. That led to yesterday. Okay.
Right.
That led to yesterday. But what it also did was it took oil getting sent to Cuba for free, getting rerouted to the United States. because we knew before we even struck Iran that we needed a contingency plan. We needed something that Iran couldn't lock us down where we couldn't get any oil, or it became taxing on the United States. So what did Trump do? Number one, he opened up Alaska in his first term. Guys, this is so multi-year faceted. I can't even go explaining it all. Okay, so in Trump's first term, they knew exactly what they were going to do and eventually get to. The drop said Iran was coming. Iran was central in taking out the deep state. Okay, so in order to take out Iran, Iran controls just about anything and everything that's going over there in the Middle East through either proxies or terrorism or things like that. But we also know we got to get rid of OPEC. Okay?
Right.
So what just happened 2 days ago with Iraq?
Right. I know. Right. It's crazy.
And Dutch also says, yes, it will. Estimate about 5 to 10 years, and I'm pretty sure that's a question to will bills go down? It's not just the Federal Reserve, and I've talked about this before. Just about everything at a governmental level moves at about decade-long cycles, give or take. So things won't happen overnight. Things won't happen by next week or next month or next year. And even what Josh just said, this has been a decade plus in the making,
right?
Already.
It has, though. It's just seems like it's been going on and on forever. But I mean, think about what we're talking about, though. I mean, like if you go back to the beginning of these slides and you start seeing like when everything started really being implemented and getting tossed in here, it makes sense. At some point, somebody said, "Oh hell, we got to stop this, right? We got to start thinking about a plan to stop this." But I mean, when things are set into motion, you can't just go in and just like throw a rock at the propeller and think it's going to stop. Right. It's not,
And, it all goes back to the quantum age, too. And here's what I mean by that.
Yes.
Is, ladies and gentlemen, if you think man made this grand plan, there is no way possible that this was done without a computer system that would game out every single available action out there. And it all goes back to Palantir. It all goes back to Starlink. It all goes back to, think war games. And the Q quantum computing system game planned all of this out years ago. What you're seeing is this future-proofs past is military planning at its finest. It's like, okay, we're going to do this. And Q even says moves and counter moves are happening daily. Okay. Do you not think that when we say we have it all, and it even says pre-planned years ago, we have when you have all the information from everywhere, you can game plan out anything that you want to. It's like the New England Patriots going and recording the practices of the other team. How do you think the New England Patriots were so successful?
Right.
Because they had the plan. We have it all. Same, breaking it down just into layman's terms, that's exactly it. That's what the Q plan is. We have it all because we know it all.
Right.
Okay, we know all the players. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox now.
It's that wild card scenario. It's that wild card. It's the wild card. The Trump with the wild cards. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You just have to have the right person at the right time that was willing to do the job.
Right. And it's back in Yeet. It's back into Looking Glass. It was this whole thing that this wild card got played in, and no matter what was going on, no matter what they did, they couldn't shift away with this one thing that we just started witnessing yesterday: the Great Awakening. D5. Yesterday was the start of the Great Awakening.
Yep.
Okay. Now nothing can stop what's coming.
I truly do think that one of their biggest flaws, they as in, the cabal, I think one of the cabal's biggest flaws is in their pursuit for power. They will implement things that they think give them power. And then we get to learn quite a lot about them as a result. And I think the internet was one of those things.
Absolutely.
I really do.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Also, just
warning.
wanted to say, Tennessee artist, I could definitely use a flying truck too.
Same. I had to laugh at Spammy saying that she would never drive a what did she say? I would never drive a flying car or something like that. I can't remember.
Luckily, you won't have to.
Yeah,
Well-
I'm not flying a car. I have to tell you, my husband got a rental car for work because he has to get them for work every month. And I sent her a video because I was telling her, hey, this thing drives itself. And I was showing her. It was just driving itself. And she was like, oh my God. She was freaking out. She was like, no.
Right. Well, like in the future, you know, air traffic controllers will have AI that communicate with AI on your vehicle, and there will be other types of AI also communicating with your vehicle, and all of them are going to coordinate together to make sure that you don't bump into other people or crash your flying truck into some type of building or something like that. It's a quite expansive system that is being laid out right in front of all of us.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Not how much I trust that, but well, we'll go with that. All right, let's go to the next slide.
We get so much stuff just off one slide.
Right? All right, let's go to the next slide. Okay, election impact. 6 mechanisms, 6 evidence tests. Economic pressure, lobbying, FARA, campaign finance, information ops. Isn't that crazy that it throws that in there? Information ops, cyber operations, and supply chain leverage. And it says, do not collapse economic influence, illegal contributions, information operations, cyber activity, and vote manipulations into one bucket. FEC.
Kind of have, though.
Kind of. FEC, DOJ, ODNI, DHS, CISA, court records, and campaign filings carrying different evidentiary weight. QAG may supply historical research language only, but it's not proof. See, it likes to tell you that, but it is proof when it becomes proof.
Just like yesterday.
Just like yesterday.
Also, for anybody who's into finances, the supply chains, that's one thing that has been constantly in the news for like the last decade is supply chains. The executive order we went over earlier is definitely going to do a lot for that. And I think you're already starting to see that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead.
Policy reversal. Trump 1, then Biden, then Trump 2. Trump 1, Section 301, tariffs, entity list, FIRRMA, and phase 1, quote unquote. Biden, CHIPS Act, export controls, UFLPA, the IRA industrial incentives, and continued tariffs. Trump 2, 2025 to 2026 tariff architecture. And there's that word architecture. It's important to understand Trump didn't just turn on economic lever when it comes to tariffs. He built a whole new lever system. Balanced and reciprocal trade dockets, critical mineral negotiations, de minimis and tariff actions. Different messages, same strategic arc. Unrestricted engagement gave way to managed confrontation.
That's important.
It is.
That's important.
Vital.
Current watch, 2026 China trade docket plus rerouting risk. A falling direct China deficit can mean reshoring, demand reduction, substitution, or third country transshipment. The receipt is customs and filing data. Watch 1, USTR docket filings, industry, labor, and corporate responses. Look for tariff pain and rerouting claims. Watch 2, entity list. I can't read that one. Export controls. I'm so blind. I'm so sorry, guys. Semiconductors, telecom, AI, defense supply. New restrictions after corporate behavior. Watch 3, SEC 10 Q risk updates. Supply chain, concentration, supplier disruptions, China sales, quarterly disclosures can change the map.
Yep. Findings board. What is established here? China's integration crosses multiple U.S. administrations, and that is important for everybody to remember as context moving forward. The PNTR was bipartisan and preceded China's WTO entry. The WTO compliance concerns emerged early in official USTR reports. Foreign investments, reviews expanded from Exxon Florio to FIRRMA. Gao documented defense and critical mineral vulnerabilities, and FARA records document foreign representation, not automatic criminal conduct. Current U.S. policy aims to reduce these strategic dependencies.
So, you want to think, it's like, okay, so how did China get all this favorable bipartisan legislature passed in our government?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can go back and look at so much. You can go back and look at the Bidens, Hunter Biden over in China, Dad Pop over in China had so many companies that they were boards of directors on over there. China, just in simplest terms, China literally bought off our politicians by giving them business deals, book deals, just all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They were bought off. Did they have a game plan like Epstein that brought people over into China and got the goods on them and said, hey, I'll give you this money and you're not going to have to worry about money no more for the rest of your life. But if you say no, guess what we got on you?
Right.
Guys, this is real life. That stuff happens.
Yep.
So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there to everybody.
Here's the thing, though, that I don't know if anybody read the Alice. I put out 3 different articles on Truth or Media's X about Lindsey Graham and about the Alice Company, and it really goes into when he very first started with bringing things into policy for Alice and bringing Alice Company into the whole thing with South Carolina. It was more about he wanted to keep that textile company. He was all, I'll call it America First before America First was ever, a Trump slogan. It
Mm-hmm.
was, he was trying to say, that at that time that China was competing for that business. Mm-hmm. And here was the trick. They made it very specific as to what down to the materials, like yarn, certain types of yarn, certain types of fabrics, certain types of things that were still going to be made in these companies or in this Alice Company in South Carolina in this textile industry, right? That's going to be what the things that were going to be made in the United States and would be exported from the United States out into other nations. But here they were playing both sides of the coin. That company then broke off and started something called, was it Eurasia One or Asia One or something like that?
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Okay. And they were actually importing items that were already made, like bed in a bag, blah, 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 all these other things that were going into companies like Linens and things. And they had, at that time, already started these huge asset companies portions. So what they were doing is they were playing both sides of the coin. So that's how they were getting them in the door on policy of saying, we want to be able to keep our company in the United States and all these things. But then on the other side, they were actually bringing in these imports. They were changing the licensing on it. So it made it look like they were actually making these items in the United States and they were slapping their names on it. So, yeah. So then they weren't getting tariffed on it. They weren't getting sanctioned on any of these items and stuff. And then they were buying licensings like a big one is Homer Laughlin. Well, Homer Laughlin made Fiesta wear and stuff like that. Well, I'm a huge Homer Laughlin person because I collect Fiesta wear. So that pissed me off when I found out that they were selling, they bought that licensing agreement and then China was making it. And they were, yeah. And so then they were saying, because Homer Laughlin is a big South Carolina American made product, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, they sold it and they licensed it and they were having China make this crap. They were shipping it back into the United States. We're paying premium price for Homer Laughlin Fiesta wear stuff that's being sold, premium, but God only knows like what's in this crap now, like what's it being made with. So they were doing this, and then that was a big, huge scandal. And that was kind of their game they were doing. And then they were bankrupting companies like J.C. Penney's, Linens and things. So this was big. And then they were, so then they were bankrupting these companies. They were doing acquisitions on them. It just turned into this huge nightmare of a deal. So that's the flip side of it, is that they were scamming, but making it look like as they were going into Congress and stuff and Senate, we're just this family-owned company for generations, and we just don't want to be, hurt by the Chinese economy of imports. And all the while, they're importing this shit and stamping, fake name on something, and they're guilty of it. So that's how this stuff got started.
Right. Well, and I'd also like to point out, out of everything they chose to export from China into America, they didn't choose to export anything that is actual quality, like China, like actual, plates, Chinaware. They chose the cheapest plastic goods they could get their hands on. Yeah. These people are not in any way, shape, or form guilt-free in any of this.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So, basically, you can read that one if you want to. This is our last slide. Yeah.
Open leads plus unsupported claims. The unresolved leads is that Merrick's evidence dissemination to CFI U.S. agencies, Clinton's personal acknowledged knowledge and causation, Barlow's exact China internet role, specific Graham bridge, and third country transshipment placing direct China imports, mostly company level lobbying and election intersection. It is very, very important for people to understand, again, that this is Fire trying to be as unbiased as possible. There's already quite a lot of those that are linked together.
Right. Right.
And the unsupported claims as well. One centrally directed bipartisan conspiracy. We actually kind of have evidence of that already.
Right.
Proof Clinton personally sold U.S. uranium. We kind of already have proof of that already. John Podesta controlling all Tony Podesta's work. And then proof of regime changes served China. Proof that Chinese cyber activity changed voter totals as well. We actually have a little bit of proof on that.
Right.
The final line is that the receipts established how the architecture was built, and that is the key. This is to show the architecture. Unresolved questions is where policy miscalculation ended and concealed influence or unlawful conduct began.
Right. Okay. So we can remove that. And
oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. We're both playing that game. Okay. So he's got documents. We've got the actual. Do you want to go to the D-class documents on it? We have D-class documents.
Yeah.
If you want to pull those up. So, what do you want to do, Josh? What do you think?
Real quick, I want to roll back to the Podesta group.
Yeah.
Real quick. We talk about bridge and things like that. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but on Q Post 1516, Q tells you that the Podesta group is the bridge.
Oh, we know it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And here's the thing too is that just like I go back to the beginning of the show, it's we want to see all these people arrested for crimes against humanity and child trafficking and sex trafficking and all that. But when you look down in history, I don't know why my camera's doing weird things right now, but when you look down in history, when we go taking down somebody, it's usually through the financial sector we take them down.
Bingo.
Okay, we make them pay through the financial because that is the most provable thing that you can do. There's paper trails, money
Exactly.
trails, accounts, and it's really hard to put in front of the court of law, child sex trafficking and everything like that, because you have to have a bunch of witness testimony, you have to have eyes on, you have to have corroborating witnesses, and so on and so on and so on. Sometimes you just can't get that. So what is Q when the Q operation started? And I want you to think about this too. What is Q? It's a security clearance through who? The Department of Energy. It's a high security clearance in the Department of Energy. So when Q started posting, what was one of the first things that Q started posting about? Uranium-1.
Yep.
Who would have had access to the Uranium-1 deal? A Q clearance patriot.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So what I'm saying is that the lead-in to the Clinton Foundation will lead to other things. But to get to the lead-in, you've got to have hard financials, and we're going to take them down through their financials.
Right.
Well, and it's the same thing as like the sex trafficking. It's pretty hard to prove intent if some politician here in America is actually, inadvertently or under the table funding some type of trafficking that's happening. But the second that you actually exchange your own cash for that uranium, or your constituents' cash for that uranium, you have probable cause of intent in the court of law.
Yep.
And that's exactly what is being documented here. Is how money is flowing, is how agreements are being made, is how influence is being dealt with as a result.
That's exactly right.
Right.
So, I listen, guys, I know we want justice for the children. I get it. I know that. I do too. But we got to start somewhere. So don't get frustrated when D-class is just a bunch of financial information and deals and China did this and our elections. That's where we start first. The lead-in must be easy to swallow. The Clinton Foundation. It's not kidding. Q's not kidding. We're coming to that very, 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 very soon. Through, John McCain is, I'm telling you guys, he's going to come back into the news big time.
Oh, I think so.
Lindsey Graham is going, all the stuff that now Lindsey is, how should I say this, off the chessboard.
Yes.
There's going to be so much information coming out about maybe what Lindsey knew and why that you're seeing 11.3 verified now. Lindsey Graham was activated, people, for the second time.
Right.
So, am I making any sense? I mean, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Essentially, him being removed has opened the floodgate to his entire background.
Right.
Everything. That only happened one other time, and that's when he was activated. We got a flood of information.
Yeah.
And just as a little side, I don't use microwaves either. You all should look up what microwave radiation does to like mushrooms and lentils.
Really?
Yeah, it changes their DNA structure. Yeah.
I sell mushrooms, right?
Yeah.
Mushrooms are very good for you, people. JusticeShrooms.com. Don't check it out. But anyways,
he said explain activated. Explain activated. Josh, explain. He said explain activated.
So that Lindsey Graham, it's well known that he didn't have a lot of family. Okay. So I believe that he sacrificed himself in the public opinion when he turned over, and I believe Lindsey Graham was a patriot. Okay. But in order to, I'm trying to put this into words, in order for the information to come out that Lindsey knew, I believe Lindsey needed to be taken off the board in order to reveal all of this information now. now that he doesn't have to face public scrutiny, things like that. Okay, we've got evidence of this kind of thing happening before. Chris Ray, I'm telling you, I think that guy took some slings and arrows for us just for the one mission of keeping these burn bags available until, because, and another thing too, and I know I'm going off on a side tangent here, but when POTUS took office, and the day POTUS took office, Chris Ray stepped down. Normally that doesn't happen. Normally what happens is that person stays in there until the new person is come along or a temp is installed. Okay? Now POTUS could have done that, but Chris Ray said, "Hey guys, I'm going to let you guys take this and peace out, guys. I'm done. I'm over." Right. So that allowed POTUS to get their person in there as quickly as possible to what? Secure these burn bags. That was the whole transition. That was the reason for the whole transition right there. That one room was filled with everything.
Yes, Patriot. Yeah, it's the information that is being activated.
Yes, right. That's exactly right. Maybe I didn't explain that very well, but yes.
Everybody's laughing like, what was he activated for?
Yeah. And, we've kind of laid out some of that information about a very surface level, things about his family and what leads to what. And, it leads to the RNC and WinRed and all that, guys. It's so hard trying to explain this huge, I don't even know web is the word for it.
Black hole.
Yeah, it's literally a black hole. So
I will tell you, I mean, because Yeet and I, we spend hours and hours, and we go probably way too deep on certain things. But he was one in particular, and so is Drew McKissick. Those two are very difficult to find a lot of background on. Like McKissick's family in general, other than what you could find on his political biography, and I mean, we've got a lot of access to digging deep on family lineage and whatnot. You can virtually find nothing on his family tree, anything. They don't want to tell you anything.
Yep.
Have you all searched Rostam on the Q drops?
Have we? We've searched Rostam though.
Yeah. So Rostam returns one Q drop. Okay. So let me share my screen. I don't know if you guys know this or not. I remember this from back in the day. There we go. All right, it should be available to you now. All right, so it's Q post 726 on 2/11/2018, and Anon posts this list. It says, "We need to identify a person on this list because it was a Russian plane crash." Okay, remember, 7 out of 10 plane crashes are targeted kills. Okay, so number 32, let's see here if I can get that off the screen. Number 32, well, it tells you in the drop here, okay, is Ivanov. I can't even pronounce that name.
Where are you? Oh,
it's Ivanov.
Wait. Go back. Go back down to the bottom. Nope.
Okay, like here?
Yeah. Sorry, I just saw the name at the bottom that says they appointed Rostam. Okay, we have that in our family deal.
In your dig, right there. Okay,
yep.
This
one
right here.
Yep.
Okay, so it says vice. I can't even pronounce that, guys. Has been appointed Rostam Special Representative for International Scientific and Technical Projects. Former Deputy Director General of Rostam, that person, has been appointed to Rostam Special Representative for Internal Scientific and Technical Project. His responsibilities will include Russia's representation at the International Thermonuclear, think Q, experimental reactor, the creation of a Center for Study of Ions and Antiprotons in Europe, and the organizations of International Research Center for Russia's multipurpose sodium-cooled fast neutron research reactor. Don't you know a little something about that, Freedom Fire?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
He will also head Rostam's Technology Development Center, which is being created at the Moscow Engineering Physics Institute, and he gives you a bunch of links. And Q says, "Over the target, Q."
Interesting.
And so I think I want you to break something down. Does Red October, and you were trying to point me to something, about the Red October steel plant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, would that tie into this at all, or am I just way off base?
Okay, what drop? Go back up. What drop is that?
This drop is number 726.
Okay, let me look it up. So, that when I was telling you about that, the Red October, it is a steel plant, or it was a steel plant in Russia. So, hang on here. 726?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Belinda, you're right. Over there in the X chat, lots of bots activated. Panic in DC. You're watching movie number 1 right now, by the way.
Yep.
And she asked, who saved the burn bags? Chris Ray saved the burn bags. Rays of light. Okay. Anyways, Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. See if it tells me.
Just looking through chat here a little bit.
You're good. It's probably going to pull the person's name with the Rostam deal, because we actually have that in our entire breakdown. I think you have that actually in your FEC the whole matrix that you have. Yeet.
Yeah.
That person comes up several times.
So it's saying that this the Q drop saying this person is also tied to the Uranium One deal and the Dirty Dossier too.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, sometimes I'm blown away by how deep Q was back then.
Right? Mm-hmm. The key issues are.
It's still deep.
Yeah.
Even after all these years.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, so it says the key issue is already emerging about drop 726. It does not itself identify a confirmed target. It replies to an Anon's theory about passenger number 32. So the manifest must be checked before decoding the claim. So go back and see what it says about passenger number 32.
Let's see here. Could this have been the target number 32? So Q doesn't actually talk about passenger number 32, though.
It says an Anon is asking about that. So it says the key issue is already emerging. Drop 726 does not itself identify a confirmed target. It replies to an Anon's theory about passenger number 32.
So were we supposed to dig a little bit farther into this person that's passenger number 32?
Well, that's what it's doing for me. So see, that's the thing, is that sometimes when we're looking at a drop, it may not have been an original drop, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So it's gonna tell us. So it's thinking. That's where this comes in good for me, because I wasn't there in the beginning. So I would have never have known that. I would have just been looking at that drop number thinking that was a drop, right? It was just a drop.
Yeah. So some of the drops here are, and that's why I say you've got to go back to the boards and look at the conversation sometimes.
Right.
Is because sometimes simply Q quotes another Anon and just gives just a slight bit of commentary, letting us know that we were on the right path.
Right.
And the digging continued even after that drop came down in that thread right there. So let's see here.
Okay, so it's really digging hard. So it must have been a really big deal. It's actually searching numbers in math, whatever it's doing here. So
I'm just going and looking around this drop in the boards, the conversation that went. Guys, if you're wondering what I'm looking at right here, when I was telling you that everybody thinks like Q is this mythical thing, No. It was conversations that happened on the chans and on the boards where this person identified as Q would drop intel information. Okay, and there was conversations that actually went on with the Anons around all of this information being dropped. Q asked the questions and we answered them.
Yep.
Okay, that's what this whole thing was about.
Yep.
It's just like Q has been twisted into this thing.
It's a critical thinking. That's all Q tried to do.
So Q drop 726. Bottom line, drop 726 does not prove that Rosatom executive Vyashlek, whatever the name is, Pershikov, was aboard Saratov Airlines Flight 703, nor that the aircraft was deliberately brought down. The evidence shows that the anon likely matched the first name, Vyasheslav, to the wrong individual. The strongest defensible interpretation is that Q's reply over the target signaled that the anon was moving towards the broader Rosatom nuclear uranium-1 investigation lane, not confirming that Pershikov as passenger number 32 or confirming an assassination. It says F equals fixed facts. Q drop 726 was posted on February the 11th of 2018, the day Saratov Airlines Flight 703 crashed after departing Moscow. An anon posted a passenger list image and asked whether passenger number 32 might have been a target connected to Rosatom, the dossier, or uranium-1. The anon then supplied information about Vyashkalev Pershikov, whatever the name is, a Rosatom nuclear technology executive. Q replied, over the target Q. The drop provides no further name, explanation, evidence, or confirmation of what target meant. The passenger list image attached to the post identifies passenger number 32 as Ivanov Vyashkalev. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. It does not identify passenger number 2 as Vyashkalev Pershikov. The official Russian Ministry of Emergency Situations passenger list similarly identifies number 32 as, I don't even know what that is. It's in some weird name. Okay, Ivanov Vyashkalev Anatolievich. Therefore, the identity claim linking passenger number 32 directly to Perashkov is contradicted by the manifest used in the post itself by the official passenger list. So the investigative yarn, so just so you guys know, our system is called FIRE, so it's going to do everything in FYRE, okay? So it's going to give us the breakdown. So the investigative yarn, the why, the anon's reasoning appears to have followed this path. Passenger number 32, named Vyashkalev, search for prominent Vyashkalev connected to uranium-1 or nuclear matters. Find Vyashkalev, Pershikov, or Rosatom. Assume Pershikov might be passenger number 32. The flaw that Vyashkalev is a common Russian first name. The surname shown on the manifest was Ivanov, not Pershikov. The Rosatom direction itself was not invented. Perashkov was a senior Rosatom innovation official involved in advanced nuclear projects, including fast neutron reactors, fusion research, and international nuclear development programs. So I have a Rosatom report that pulls that up. Yeah, and it shows all that. The deputy CEO for innovation management. There is also a documented institutional connection, which we already knew. Oh, this is how we know. Yeet. Rosatom wholly owns arms. That's why. Acquired control of uranium-1.
It's all tied into uranium-1.
The U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission documented that ARMS was indirectly wholly owned by Rosatom and approved the transfer of control over uranium-1's U.S. uranium recovery license in 2010. That's how we know. We have that. Okay. Yeah. That establishes a genuine Rosatom uranium-1 corporate lane. It does not establish that Perashkov or whatever was on flight 703. Ivanov was associated with Perashkov. Ivanov was connected to uranium-1. The crash was intended to kill either man. Passenger number 32 was connected to the Steele dossier. So it's not the same person as what they're saying.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. So the R, receipts and crash record. Flight 703 was Anatov AN 148 operating from Moscow to Orsk. All 65 passengers and 6 crew members died. The Interstate Aviation Committee completed its technical investigation in June of 2019. The final report concluded that the aircraft experienced unreliable airspeed readings after all 3 pilot probes became iced and blocked. The pilot heating seating. Oh, go ahead.
What kind of plane was it? Did it say exactly what kind of plane it was?
Was an Antonov AN 148.
Okay, all right.
Okay. The accident was classified as a loss of control event. The report also identified broader airline deficiencies involving crew training, risk management, safety management, operational oversight, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So the E evidentiary ruling was documented. Flight 703 crashed on February 11th of 2018. Q-drop 726 responded to an anon examining passenger number 32. Passenger number 32 was listed as Vyashkalov Ivanovov, not Poroshkikov. Poroshkikov was associated with Rosatom. Rosatom had documented corporate connection with uranium-1 through arms. The official investigation attributed to crash to ice pitot probes and failure to activate heating, crew actions, and systemic safety devices. Cues over the target may have meant the anon was approaching the correct general subject, Rosatom, nuclear technology, and uranium-1. So,
and as we can see from your research, that it was connected in with Lindsey Graham.
Right.
You know, it connects to a lot of things in uranium-1. Guys, do you remember?
Oh, sorry. I'm going to stop you for a second, though, because it does say,
yeah.
Nearby Q posts, we're discussing plane crashes, emergency alerts, unusual travel events, Red October, and the film title, The Hunt for Red October. The context explains why researchers immediately examined Flight 703 for intelligence or nuclear connections. However, the surrounding posts do not supply a name, operational order, or documentary bridge providing that Flight 703 was targeted.
Oh. I'm going to share my screen to answer a question somebody is asking in chat. So this is the Antonov, and yes, it is a big plane.
Guys, do you remember about a couple of years ago they started grounding a bunch of planes they said they could be hacked, and in all kinds of navigation systems would go crazy?
Yes.
Yeah.
That thing is massive.
These
Holy
things
crap.
are flipping huge.
Wow.
Look at the amount of wheels on that sucker.
Man.
Look at the jets on that thing.
What was it carrying besides passengers? So interesting to this, the surrounding Q drops around that drop we just read about Rostom. Q drop 731 timestamp, Snowden, truth to power, drop, truth to power, learn, Q. You will cease to exist, timestamp, learn, Q. It says coincidence to truth, coincidence, Barlow, learn. What if Snowden was still a clown? Why would it be more important he was in Russia, learn, Q. So we were just talking about Barlow there.
Right. Do you have... Okay.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to ask Yeet if he had the sheet that has the stuff on Barlow. I think we have
the one that you sent me in Discord?
Yeah, we should have a sheet that has stuff about Barlow and who Barlow was.
John Perry Barlow is who we're talking about.
Is that under D-Class timeline?
It could be. It's either under that one or it's probably under the first one, the China.
Oh, gotcha.
Because we talked about,
See, also around this drop, we're talking about the hunt for the Red October too.
Yes.
You know, about Rostom and things like that.
I was going to pull up that.
Yeah, that one's only a 4-pager, and it's just the receipts.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah.
Let me pull up who Barlow is. It's in our show prep brief thing, but I don't.
We really need a better organization structure.
I know it's hard. Like we've got so much stuff. There's no way we could go through. Okay, so, who he is though? He's the. I thought he was on that. So display the parallel information. China joins the global network. 1996 declaration. Expectation was the connectivity. Okay, so let me see if I can find the paperwork on him.
I'm just going to pull up all the drops on Barlow.
Yeah, you're good.
Maybe it's up above more. I swear I saw it earlier.
Yeah, we had like a little PDF thing on what he
the
did.
NSD one?
There's like a library on like everything he's done. He's the one that did the Declaration of Independence of Cyberspace.
So, this post right here, we were talking about that earlier off air, because it was calmed to by, Tracy didn't want me to say this, but the Democrat page. And it was linking John Barry Barlow, and it says, we have the sub. John Perry Barlow is linked to the Red October in some way. I don't know how, but we have the sub, and everything that is around Barlow is talking about Red October too.
Okay.
I'm not finding the connection here.
I'm going to see.
You want me to open this up and prop it up?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay.
Might as well. Don't you guys love Yeet's little noises that he makes when he's doing stuff?
I do that too, yeah. And so, Barlow suffered a near fatal heart attack on May 27, 2015. He later reported that he was recovering. And it says, John Perry Barlow, 187 post, name drop. 187 equals murder. Post, Washington Post. Q suggested that John Barlow was murdered for his ability to influence the activities of Freedom of the Press Foundation. The Washington Post article highlights Barlow's ability to influence wealthy techno-capitalists toward his idealist goals. Snowden, you are now a liability.
Okay, here you go, Josh. So I asked it. I asked what, because I had it bring up his his book, right? But then I said, what is his link to the Hunt to the Red October? It says, Barlow's writing on digital copyright sometimes used work such as The Hunt for Red October as examples of how books or films could be copied and distributed electronically. A 1995 Washington Post article discussing the copyright debate around Barlow's ideas used The Hunt for Red October as an example of a digitized work moving across computer networks. That is a copyright policy reference, not evidence that Barlow worked on a movie or book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we knew that.
But that's what it's saying. That's what it's saying, that's his connection. That is Barlow's writing on digital copyright sometimes used works such as The Hunt for Red October as examples of how books or films could be copied and distributed electronically.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So
very interesting.
Says there are also many descriptions saying Barlow worked or intricated with franchise creators such as Tom Clancy, but the source located is an event speaker biography and does not explain the nature, dates, or documentary basis of that relationship. So that's what it's saying.
Guys, we're doing digging live. That's Sorry. Why there's that's fine. That's why there's a lot of pauses and stuff like that, because we're looking through information.
Let's make digging great again.
Okay,
that's right.
So
that's what we're doing.
So let me read this. This is a John Perry Barlow drop where it's quoted off something else. It says, and keep the clock in mind here. It says, simple, we made it public. Operation closed and clean. Coincidence, post drop. Coincidence, no name, exact 30. Coincidence, Senator Graham activated. In the end, you will be shocked to learn what you've essentially witnessed. Think New York City bomber fireworks hours prior. Where we go one, we go all.
Hmm.
And it's talking about Jacob Silverman. It's talking about John Barlow.
Okay.
About
Okay.
he was engaged to a woman.
Okay, so what drop is that, Josh?
It's talking about Edward Snowden in this too. It's got links. This is a big one, guys.
Oh yeah, Tennessee artist, 100%. Like, they're basically just seeding and trying to absolutely control all exchanges of information, info exchanges encoded. Yep.
2305. That's the drop. You going to run it through fire?
Yep.
Yeah, Bibby. Q said somewhere that the hunt for the Red October has nothing to do with the sub. I think that's what we're finding out right here live.
Right.
Yep. Sometimes it kind of feels like Goodwill Hunting.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So Q drop 2305 does not establish a connection between John Perry Barlow and the hunt for October, which we knew. It is part of a separate October 1st, 2018 sequence. Drop 2305 replied to an anonymous post titled John Barlow Dig. The post speculated that Barlow had been murdered, cited his 2015 heart attack. Well, this is interesting now. Discussed his influence on Silicon Valley and the Freedom of the Press Foundation, and warned Edward Snowden that he was a liability. The Q reply said, in part, we made it public. Operation closed and cleaned. Then referenced Senator Graham activated and said readers would be shocked by what they had witnessed. The Red October language appears in the immediately adjacent post sequence where Q wrote, the hunt for, dropped, why, Russia sub-threat push, Red October, double meanings exist. That post also referenced an alleged unauthorized missile and reported object over Whidbey Island. So the apparent association comes from the proximity within the Q drop sequence, not from a documentary evidence that Barlow worked on Tom Clancy's novel or in the 1990 film. For the receipt room, classify it this way. Documented fact, drop 2305 engaged with a user-generated Barlow dig and repeated cryptic claims involving an operation, Senator Graham and Barlow's death. What? Wait a minute. I have to read that again.
So one thing is that you have to remember Senator Graham, and when it says he was activated, you have to remember the Graham-Kavanaugh exchange about, you go back and listen to that exchange, and it's talking about a U.S. citizen that is overseas that commits treason, and that the Constitution does not protect that person, that if they conspire with a foreign entity to subvert the United States of America. Okay? So that's when it says Senator Graham activated on that. Okay? Now Snowden is a liability. And where is Snowden right now as we speak? He's in Russia.
Okay, hang on a minute. Sorry, I have to reread this because it just, that kind of like, okay.
Go ahead.
Documented fact. I want to make sure I'm reading this right. Drop 2305 engaged with the user-generated Barlow dig and repeated cryptic claims involving an operation, Senator Graham and Barlow's death.
One more time for me.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you heard me right. Documented fact. Drop 2305 engaged with a user-generated Barlow dig and repeated cryptic claims involving an operation, Senator Graham and Barlow's death. The neighboring drop used the hunt for and Red October.
Wow.
So let me throw this out there.
Uh-huh.
The hunt for during what was happening is during this time is Snowden was trying to escape. and he got rerouted to Russia. Okay, and he was supposed to be going somewhere else, but Russia detained him for a reason. And I think what happened is Snowden was trying to get away from us, and then we rerouted him into Russia, and now we hold him for reserve. And
Right.
at the time, the hunt for, could Edward Snowden be Red October? I don't know.
Right, and that's so supported connection. Q-drop researchers may read the adjacent posts as one thematic sequence involving Barlow, Snowden, Russia-related narratives, intelligence operations, and Senator Graham. So, but what I keep going back to is the first thing it said: Senator Graham and Barlow's death.
Kind of wonder what Fire's interpretation of the hunt for Red October is in this context.
So yeah, I'm like, is it saying that it knew that Senator Graham was going to die?
Yeah, because that's what I'm picking up here.
That's
from a heart attack, John
Yes.
Perry Barlow.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So document. That's what I'm telling you. So that's why I had to reread this like 3 times. Documented facts, drop to 305, engaged with a user-generated Barlow dig and repeated cryptic claims involving an operation, Senator Graham and Barlow's death. The neighboring drop used the hunt for and Red October.
And
Wow.
audience, let me
I'm like, what?
piece something together for you in layman's terms here, okay? John Perry Barlow died from a heart attack, 187, okay? So this is linking the likeness. And what did we just talk about all day long and yesterday? Senator Graham was activated, okay, on his death. From what? What did they say he died from? A heart attack.
Heart attack.
Heart attacks can be deadly. Holy crap. So did Q point, and it's so hard to piece it. There was no way you could have pieced this together back then.
No,
okay.
but this is. That's what I'm saying. No, and it's definitely. I don't know. Can I share this with you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, how do I do this so you guys can actually see this? Because this is insane.
Yeah. So let me take my screen away and
Can
you
I
share
add
your screen.
something real quick?
Yeah.
Did you guys know that the Office of Strategic Services has an official handgun that they call the heart attack gun, which is SAC-46? It's literally a poison dart using CO2 and cartridges. It creates a blood clot in your body.
Yeah, Genes 3 is right. Future proofs past.
Yep.
I mean, we are literally in the future proofs past time frame right now. I mean, it's all coming back together, every single bit of it.
Just right. Let me see if this is it. Yes. Oop. Can I do that?
Hey, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. Now, how do I make it larger? Can you guys
It's fine.
see it?
We can see it. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to make mine bigger so I can see. Okay, so if you go look over here, is that the right thing?
Yes.
Okay, so where did it go? Oh, here we go.
This is a rare look inside of Fire OS.
Yes, right? So where did I just read it from? So if you go down here, documented fact, here you go. Right here. Drop 2305, engaged with the user-generated Barlow dig and repeated cryptic claims involving an operation, Senator Graham and Barlow's death. I mean, that's just wild to me.
I mean, Q told us, and let's go back to and talk about Graham and his death. Okay, so you're telling me, and Freedom is the one that turned this on to me. So you're telling me that Lindsey Graham is spotted, documented in Ukraine 12 hours before he dies in his house in the United States.
Yeah,
that is physically Impossible.
Because there's only 2 connections into Ukraine. It's through Poland or Russia, and Russia's is offline right now because of the war. And so you have to take a train like 12 hours, was it?
Like 10 to 12 hours, yeah.
Into Ukraine. And that's just the train ride into Ukraine, let alone the flight home.
Yeah, I'm like, there's no way that could have happened.
So let me throw this out there. Could Senator Graham's death also be labeled maybe Red October? Is Senator, just like Snowden being held in Russia, and you just said it, Yeet, there's only a couple of ways in and out of Ukraine, and one of them goes through Russia. Okay? Could Senator Graham still be in Russia?
He could have potentially gotten diverted to Russia.
Q post 2333, nothing to see here, D5, Red October Q.
Goodwill Hunting.
Guys, this stuff is just coded so much. Man.
Jeez. So, I don't know. I'm still sorry. That just threw me for a loop as I was reading that. I'm like, are they literally? Because here it is, like the reply to anonymous posted, post titled John Barlow dig, post speculated that Barlow had been murdered, cited his 2015 heart attack, discussed his influence on Silicon Valley, Freedom of the Press Foundation, the whole 9 yards. And then you get down here, and then it talks about, again, I don't know, claims involving an operation, Senator Graham, and Barlow's death. It just is bizarre.
Yeah, Patriot. It's real life is stranger than fiction sometimes, right?
So, we just talked about D5, and I believe that D5 was started yesterday. I want you to plug, continuing on into this, now plug post 2300 in with fire now. Okay? And I'll read it. It's Red October with the red crosses. Okay? In the word, it red and red makes a cross. It says Justice K confirmation D class. Goodbye, Mr. Rosenstein, payment in full. And remember, Rosenstein was a central player in Uranium One. Okay?
Let me type this right.
Okay, so it also says define treason. The crime of betraying one's country, especially by attempting to kill a sovereign or overthrow the government, defined as subversion. The act of subverting the state of being subverted, especially a systematic attempt to overthrow or undermine a government or political system by persons working secretly within. Think line of questioning, R.E. Senator Graham activated. Justice K, enemy combatants, operators are standing by. Q. So there's another D-class, Red October, and Senator Graham.
Yeah, and post 2305 sure does pop up a lot too.
2305, you said?
Yeah.
So there's 2300. Historical index, Q alerts, QAG only. Okay, so
Eyewitness, if you have any questions, you feel free to ask. We'll try to answer them the best we can.
Who's this? Sorry.
Eyewitness.
Okay. So 2300 contains the principal elements. Red October. Okay, so D class. Goodbye, Mr. Rosenstein. Payment in full. Think line of questions. Senator Graham. Okay, there's your Justice K. Our enemy combatants. The post was published during the final stage of Brett Kavanaugh's. Let's see.
I wish we had this tool back in the day.
Right?
The only problem is that it's gone outside of its, like, I don't use Q alerts.
It's going outside its programming.
Yep, it's gone outside its programming. We only use QAG, and it knows that.
Yeah, that's sometimes we have to realign the system.
So it's really putting on a show for you. It's like, hey, look what I can do.
Officially, Graham is on, at least on paper, dead. We're not sure if he's alive, but there is some reason to think he could be alive.
Somebody's saying, are you all saying there's a possibility that Lindsey Graham is still alive in Russia? Eyewitness says on X.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. We don't have any sauce to back that up whatsoever.
No. All we were saying is just by, using, I'm not trying to say like it's not common sense, but just by practical, traveling, it is a 10 to 12 hour ride from Poland to Ukraine on a train. And I know we had this conversation this morning in Dawning Justice, myself and it was a Onward Truth, maybe, I can't remember, or OK Patriot. We were talking back and forth, and they were saying that, well, but, you have to think about whatever it is. Like if you basically, if you're a politician, you have, you get to fly here, blah, blah, blah. You have this preference or whatever airport, except for the fact that right now you can't fly into Ukraine directly because they're in a war with Russia, right?
Mm-hmm. No fly
so
zone.
They're not going to fly. Yeah, there's no fly zone. You can't. We're not flying into Russia right now because of that same reason. So you have to fly into Poland, and then the closest you're going to be able to get is still like, I don't know, a 10, 12, or 8 hour train ride. I can't remember which it is. There and back. So
yeah, and Casey, that is our working theory at the moment. Only a theory. We don't have evidence, but we think he died in Ukraine.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Casey. It's like, so any chance he died in Ukraine? That's what I think. I'm just saying, everybody's saying, well, he died in his house, in his home, 12 hours after being in Ukraine. Well, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no way. Sorry to cut you off.
Could he have went over there in Ukraine and they finally figured out that Graham had all this information and they killed him? That is a very good possibility. President Trump talks very fondly about Lindsey Graham. I don't think he's ever said one bad word about Lindsey Graham, ever. I don't remember it. So in saying that, I honestly believe that he flipped to us once John McCain died, just like the drops infer on that. So also another weird thing about Lindsey Graham's death is that they were saying, well, who called in? Well, they called for a wellness check on him. Okay? Wellness checks usually aren't checked on unless somebody has been missing for 24 hours. Okay? Right. So they're saying that within an hour of him arriving back in the United States in his house, they called for a wellness check on him.
Right.
Right.
That does not make any sense at all.
No.
At
like,
this time, yeah, at that time, the police wouldn't even entertain that. They're like, well, how long has he been missing? Well, an hour. Okay, well, let's wait 24 hours and then we'll circle back around for a wellness check.
And Patriot, I wanted to point this out. Q does say moves and counter moves. I would not be surprised if Lindsey Graham was legitimately taken out, and this level of D-class was the counter move to that. Just saying.
Right.
And we were talking, let me build off of that, what you just said, Yeet. So John McCain's death was a counter to, they thought, of the D5 that was coming back in the day. Okay? That's why they sacrificed, or we murdered, whatever, John McCain. And at that funeral, Q points out, it says, well played, you changed the news cycle. So they thought that D5 was coming December 5th. So they set up his funeral for December 5th. And so Q responded, well played. And then that's when the Follow the Wives come in. And then the wives at the funeral had these notes.
Yup.
Okay? And these notes fell out. And somebody asked after the funeral on the boards, Q, what was in the notes? And it says, our promise to counter.
Yep.
Q.
Moves and counter moves. This is a war, not a show. And everybody needs to remember that. This is a war, not a show.
Yeah, if it was a big show, there wouldn't be any reason for moves and counter moves.
It wouldn't be any reason to kill off Lindsey, yeah.
Yeah. So, Wow, guys, what a show!
It's been pretty
And
great.
there's a lot more here.
There is. Yeah, I mean, we could keep going on for hours. It's been crazy, but I mean, we covered a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't know. Whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah, it was most certainly eye opening, and made some new connections and talked about this and that, and y'all did a great job in your dig there too on how China has slowly worked their way in the United States. That I mean, with facts and with receipts. So it's awesome. So guys, if you want to know something about this show right here, this is the Dig Show. This is the, hey, we don't go off conjecture on things, and when we do, we label it as such. Okay, we like to bring the receipts on real world events and what's happening. Okay, and not just a bunch of conjecture and pulling this out of the air and pulling that out of the air and speaking from, trust me, bro. I've had this inside source tell me this, so this is going to happen. Yeah, it's going to happen, most definitely. No, we bring receipts. Freedom and Yeet works around the clock trying to dig on this stuff for you guys to bring the receipts and the information. So, I am very privileged to know you two. And
well, thank you.
And
man.
I'm going to tell you one thing. Ricky, if we had you back in the day on the boards, you could have done some damage. You would have probably been the most cued person out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wish. It would have been fun. It's fun now. I have a lot of fun now, but I have a lot of fun with you guys,
And this is what we did back in the day. Things just like this. You would get in dig rooms and be like, okay, well, I found this and I found this, and we all made the web together and then went and answered the questions that Q asked us to answer and dig on.
Right.
That's what it was all about. That's what the movement was about, and bringing truth out and not just a bunch of BS out there. So
right. Yeah.
So yeah, the links for a lot of this, quite a lot of this, are in the comment section below underneath the chat. In case you guys didn't hear that earlier, feel free to check them out. Don't just take us for our word. This is a dig show. This is about facts and truth. Y'all got to make that assumption yourself too.
Yep. That's right.
Well, guys,
this is what we like to do.
I think you've got almost 1,800 people watching on X combined.
Just climbing.
And let's see here. My gosh, guys, for your all's following, you've got a lot of eyes on and Rumble too. And 55 thumbs up. Awesome.
Yeah.
5.
So yeah, guys, I've got to head on out and check on a couple of things. So I'm going to go ahead and leave you all while you all wrap up, okay? And thank you guys for having me on. I have such a good time coming on this show, and we get to spitballing, and then it just goes off.
Yeah, we appreciate you. We appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks for being
here. Always
here.
A good time. It was a lot of fun.
Yep, awesome.
All right. Have a good night.
Guys, thank you all. I appreciate y'all. All right,
bye. All right.
Yeah, so let's go over the chat a little bit before we wrap up, huh? Spammy, let us know. Don't forget about AJP tonight.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I need to raid into him. Gotta raid into AJP.
And Dutch, it's okay. Like it's kind of sad because like there's so few diggers nowadays, man, and it really doesn't take much. If you really want to get into digging, all you got to do is just have an open mind and make connections, and the dig kind of does itself. It really does. And AI just makes it a lot quicker, and fire just makes it a lot quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I dig and dig and dig, but again, I always say I wasn't there from the beginning, so I need help. I need help. So I had to create help.
Right.
That's what we got.
And cracking the Q code or two didn't hurt either.
Yeah. That's what created the help, is cracking the Q code a little bit. So
thank you, Josh.
Yes. So yeah, we appreciate all of you guys. We appreciate all. Oh, did he get it? He got it in there. Yay! Yep. Thank you, Josh. He's got us rated for yes, that's awesome. He's got us rated for AJP for FAFO.
Yeah, we'll be moving you all along to FAFO night. Make sure to give Joe some love.
Yes. And thank you guys all for being here tonight. God knows that it's been a long week. It's been a long couple nights for everybody, and we appreciate you guys sticking with us very, very much so. We don't know what we do without all you guys, to be honest. And I've seen everybody in the chat, I feel like, since this morning. So
yeah,
Jeff Tumbler, I feel like I know you very, very personally, man. I see you constantly. So we've had lots of conversations in the chats, and I love it. And it's awesome. And Hootie Hoo and Casey, of course, BB's Barn, it's Baby Girl. And we just appreciate every one of you guys. We don't know what we'd do without all you guys. It's great. It's great to have a family like this. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Y'all are so awesome.
You guys are so awesome. But if you guys don't mind giving us a thumbs up and sharing our show on the way out, and we want to do this again with you guys next week, and I'm sure we'll see you guys in Joe's show, and we just keep on rolling that vibe on into his house.
Right. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you all for being such an amazing group of people hanging out in our chat, being so kind and loving. Absolutely appreciate all of it.
All right, guys. Have a great Friday. We love you guys.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.